everyone, my name is Jenna, but you guys can call me Jen. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Hi, hello, welcome to my Pride recommendations. I looked back at the previous couple years and I saw that I have done this many times, of course, because I'm always recommending queer books, because queer books are the best kind of books to read. Bye guys. What I'm going to do real quick, I'm going to tag the videos down below if you want to go hear about them, because I think last year I did like a rapid fire type of situation with a bunch, just as many queer books as I could. And then the year before that, it was like my TBR and like what your TBR should be, so like ones that I was really loving. So both of those videos are tagged down below if you want to hear more recommendations. And now today, my friends, we're going to be talking about some queer books that I have read since last Pride and some books that I have on my TBR, because why not? So we're going to go through it. I really have no plan for this video other than that, so we're just gonna go into it. Happy Pride, my friends. Let's get into the recommendations. First up, we're gonna do my little literary fictions, and they are both by the same author. So we're gonna talk about Emily Austin for a second, because Emily Austin is the best. We love her. She Canadian, she queer, she a lesbian. We love it. She writes lesbian books. They're so good. Genuinely, as someone who isn't someone who really reads a lot of literary fiction and actually enjoys literary fiction, I'm not one of those people. I'm a big fantasy girly and a sci-fi girly, as we all know, but I find a lot of literary fiction very sad, dour. Doesn't leave me feeling very good at the end, leaves me crying, whatever. Emily Austin's books leave me with hope at the end of them. Even though I was crying of happiness and gay pride at the end of this, it was still a lovely way to be left. And I do find that her books are like a lovely slice of life type of narrative. Not a whole lot goes on, but they are so enjoyable and just so easily readable, and they're so queer. I highly recommend them. So I have read Is This a Cry for Help most recently, and also Interesting Facts About Space as well. Both wonderful books, very queer. We love them. This one is about a sapphic librarian who is married to her beautiful wife. They have such a beautiful relationship. She has just come off of a mental health leave from work, where she had a mental breakdown due to the death of her ex-boyfriend, who she kind of blames herself for his death in a weird way. Anyways, it's the coming off of that, going back to work, and then dealing with lots of censorship and book banning and that kind of thing in the library system. And it's just lovely. It's just absolutely lovely. So pick these up. Up next, The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson. So this is a book that is just fucking phenomenal. I love a fantasy mystery so fucking much. This just blew me away, to be really honest with you. The narration's fantastic, the story is incredible and complex. I love the characters, all that kind of stuff. This has a queer, I believe, sapphic side character relationship, and that is very fun and amazing. So highly recommend this if you're into fantasy mystery, really twisty fantasy narratives set in a kind of like almost faction-y type of world with really interesting political plays. And also there is a murder that just happened, and also a like competition that is happening that our main character has to be in now because someone was killed and she's taking their space, all that kind of stuff. It's wonderful. Another queer side character situation we have is The Second Death of Locke by V.L. Bovalino. Now, this is my favorite book of last year. I fucking ate this shit up. It has one of the best yearning romances I've ever read in my life. Granted, it is a straight presenting romance, but our main character, Gray, is bi, I do believe, because she does have relations with a woman at some point and mentions it in here. And also we have sapphic side characters as well. So very queer normative, very lovely. I am obsessed with this book and with V.L. Bovalino's writing. This is such a wonderful, slow romantasy. I just ate it up. I ate it up. Truly. Next up, we have The Princess Knight by Kate Jacobs. This one is queer because our author is non-binary, goes by they, them, and also we have some very queer characters in here. It's an incredibly diverse cast. This is heavily inspired by Legally Blonde, and I fucking ate this up. It is so fun. Genuinely, like, reading this, you cannot help but love our main character and her gumption to do what she wants, what she believes is right, and she has so much strength and gumption. That's the word for it, really. Gumption behind it all. I fucking love this. I highly, 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 highly recommend this. And the romance in here is just wonderful. So next up, we have a sapphic main couple in The Keeper of Magical Things by Julie Leong. This is the second in Julie Leong's cozy standalone fantasy series that she is writing. This is in the same world as The Teller of Small Fortunes, but is not really connected at all. all. So you can read this out of order if you want. And I loved this book. I thought it was phenomenal. We have a full mage who's like known as the Ice Queen, and a sort of apprentice mage who can't really do a lot except for her one power very, very, very well. They get paired together to do a job in a small town. Lots of, wonderful community building, and of course, a wonderful sapphic relationship that follows. And it's just beautiful. I loved it. Highly recommend. I keep saying that. I keep saying highly recommend. And listen, I recommended everything in this video. That's why I'm doing this video. It's a recommendation video. Anyways, all right, next up we have another sapphic book, which is Nightshade and Oak by Molly O'Neill. This is Molly O'Neill's second book. Her first book was Green Teeth, which was very friendship based, and I fucking loved that. But this one here is a sapphic story. We have essentially the plot of this is that this divine figure becomes mortal in an accident and ends up having to travel with this mortal princess to the end of the world underworld situation to thus get her powers back and also save this mortal princess's sister's soul. And at the same time, they, develop feelings and all that kind of stuff. It's wonderfully queer and wonderful. I really enjoyed this. I don't think it's as good as Green Teeth, but I think if you had problems with Green Teeth's voiciness and weirdness, you probably will love this, because Molly O'Neill's writing is just fantastic, and I love her storytelling and I love her character work. It's some of the coolest stuff ever. So pick this up. Next, we have this little duology, which is The Fireborn Blade and The Bloodless Princes by Charlotte Bond. These are sapphic. Now, these are also very, very, very fun as novellas, because I think they do such an interesting job in exploring the tropes that they bring up and then twisting them on their head. So we have the first one, which is a traditional knight going to slay a dragon story, but it's very twisted on its head, and it's just such an interesting layout, because we have the knight on her quest with a scribe who she doesn't trust and is also very sus. And then we have it interspliced with these real life accounts from this book in the world that's how to slay a dragon type things. So it's like a classic fantasy knight going to slay a dragon vibe. And then we have the follow-up to that, which is a descent into the underworld to save a soul. I love a descent into the underworld trope, like Orpheus and Eurydice. I love that. I love that so much. And this was really, really, really well done. Tasty, delicious little novellas. I love it. So if you're looking for a really quick add to your TBR, these are where it's at. And next up, I have a sapphic from a beloved author who wrote a sapphic trilogy that I absolutely fucking ate up and loved and just devoured. And I have read the first and second books many times in that series, which is the Jasmine Throne series by Tasha Shuri. But her latest book that I have since read since last Pride is The Isle in the Silver Sea. This is a fairy tale-esque standalone story between a knight and a witch and their doomed love story, because they are fated to play out this fairy tale trope of a story that repeats every lifetime and over and gets reborn in new people, and they are fated to live out this tragic love story. And our two main characters are just the fucking best. And it's such a fascinating look at colonialism and the effect of colonialism specifically on stories that are from outside the main culture. And it was just so delightfully well done. I think I need to reread this soon, because it was so well done. And Lady Knights, I will always be here for some Lady Knights, okay? Lady Knights are my kryptonite at this point. Yes. Then recently, I actually picked up this one that I'm going to talk about, which is The Red Winter by Cameron Sullivan. This is an Achillean historical fantasy that is such a fascinating frame narrative type retelling of a super bloody event that happened with the Beast of Gévaudan, which is a actual thing from history. The Beast of Gévaudan, go look it up. This was a phenomenal book. 5 stars. It's one of my only 5 stars of this year so far. I ate this shit up. So this is a frame narrative that is told by Sebastian, who is our main character, who is immortal. He has a little demon guy living inside of him that basically keeps him immortal. He also has our succubus character Livia, who also has a really interesting role in this book with telling pieces of the story that's relevant from way back in history. So we have Sebastian telling the story of this thing that happened many decades, centuries ago. And then we have that narrative where it's 20 years after this event of the bloody night or whatever of the Beast of Gévaudan, where the son of Sebastian's old lover, Antoine, comes to seek Sebastian's aid because the beast is back and he helped defeat it the first time. So there's that. And then as they're traveling from Sebastian's manor to this town, Sebastian tells the story of how it actually happened because Jacques never learned that from his father because his father's very closed off about it. And then we get that narrative as well, the original story from 20 years prior to that. So wonderful. And then, of course, we get Livia's interstitials of where we are getting the history from like the inception of this monster type situation and also like the inception of the relationships of Livia and Sebastian and stuff like that. It is fascinating. It's bloody. It's gory as shit. It's a little crude and a little off, but I fucking ate it up and I loved this. I love a voicey narrative so much and it's queer as shit. We just love it. We love it so much, okay? Another cozy book is coming onto this list as well. Another sort of recent read is Kill the Beast by Sarah Swift. Now, the majority of this book is a focus on a friendship that is developing between our main character and this rich man who hires her to kill a beast. Again, lots of like similar plot threads in these books that I'm reading. We have Lady Knights. We have killing a beast. We have, all that kind of stuff. This is very Witcher coded, and our main character is a lady knight lady knight archetype, I should say, who goes around killing beasts and has this revenge quest to kill this beast who killed her brother many years ago, and she gets hired by this man to kill this mythical beast that killed her brother. So she goes on this adventure with this man at her side, and it's their very reluctant friendship, and then it's also the realities of like life sometimes, and being hidden in yourself and all this kind of stuff. It's a wonderful book. I highly recommend it. And our main character is sapphic, so that's great. Not all queer books have to be about romance, do they? No, you can just exist. Identities just exist. And then we have a book that I did mention in a previous Pride Rex video just as an offhand, because at the time I had not reread this series or this first book and then gone on with the series. And I'm going to tell you right now that it is very clear. Samantha Shannon wrote The Bones season. Our author is queer. Our main character, Paige, is very queer. She's on the demi spectrum. And we just have queerness all over these books. I fucking love these books so much. Like, I'm honestly itching for a reread. And I'm like, should I wait to reread these? Because we do have the sequel coming out next year. The 6th book coming out next year of 7. 6 of 7. So, like, we still have to wait for the 7th book. Because we don't know when we're going to get that. Because she's going to take her sweet time with it. Because she's going to make it absolutely fucking amazing. But I'm itching to get back into Paige's world and reread The Bone season again. And it's just so phenomenal. This is some of the best dystopian fantasy I have ever read. We follow Paige, who is clairvoyant of some kind, in a world where clairvoyants are persecuted and arrested and shipped off to get rid of them on these streets. And she lives in a very controlled London, and there's so much shit going on. In this first book, she gets imprisoned for being who she is, sent to Oxford, where, oh my god, this is basically an army camp training these clairvoyants to use their powers for these unearthly beings who think they rule everything. And it's just fascinating. It's fascinating, and it's so inspiring to one of my dystopians that's cooking in my head. So love these. I love it so much. And because we ended on a dystopian, we're going to kind of go into the 2 sci-fis that I've read recently that are also queer. First up, we have Megan E. O'Keefe, which I've mentioned Megan E. O'Keefe's books in the past because they're always very queer and wonderful. And The Two Lies of Faven Scythe is a standalone sapphic sci-fi heist thing, heist adventure thing with space pirates and learning more about the realities of what you're living in and how that you're like the reality you may know is not correct at all. So this was phenomenal. I highly recommend that as a sci-fi. And then finally, we're going to end these recommendations before I talk about my TBR on my most recent 5-star, which is Love Galaxy by Sierra Branham. Oh my god. Okay. This was fucking phenomenal. Okay. I ate this shit up. It's like if you took The Bachelor and Love Island, put it in space, made it so that two siblings are on the show at the same time trying to find their partners in life, because the royals always find their future partners through this dating show. And it's an incredibly politically driven dating show that we don't really realize until we're in it. And then our main character, Tammy, gets pulled from the far reaches of this one fuck ass planet and gets put in here, basically begged by the girl of this to be part of the show for her brother. But the tension between Tammy and Spy is just phenomenal. Oh, so we have so many different queer identities in here. We got lots of non-binary characters. We got sapphic. We got bisexual. All sorts of stuff. This was fucking phenomenal, and I did not know where we were going at any point in time in this. Honestly, I went into this without knowing that it was also a murder mystery type situation. That was fucking great. When I found the first dead body, I was like, oh my god, there's now a dead body. And you can go watch the vlog that I read this in one sitting and fucking loved it 5 stars. Oh, this is so good. So good, my guys. Okay, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I need to read more queer sci-fi. So if you have any recommendations for queer sci-fi specifically, put them down below. And I've read all of Becky Chambers. Don't worry about her. Read all of Valerie Valdez's Chilling Effect trilogy. Tell me others. Some of my TBR potentials for this month, because I am not locking myself down into an actual TBR. That is not the mood right now. I'm not really in a reading mood. Setting myself an actual TBR that I have to follow feels a little restricted. These are possibilities of ones that are like kind of interesting. So first up, I am rereading The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi by S.A. Chakraborty, which has a trans character in it. And I would like to also read, I left it over here, Tapestry of Fate, which is the second book in that series. So would love to read that as well this month. Then I have a book that's been on my TBR for fucking ever, and that is This Princess Kills Monsters by Rai Herman. This is apparently very queer. Also, our author is very queer, so love that. I'm just going to rapid fire through these, not tell you what they're about, because I don't actually know. I haven't read them yet. We have this sequel, the conclusion to a duology, that I know a lot of people fucking hate this sequel, but listen, I loved book 1, and I recommended book 1 in a previous Pride video of mine. That is The Court of Wanderers. Court of Wanderers. Text is weird to read backwards, by Rinji Pecco. I know people hate this sequel, say that it ruined it, but like, I loved book 1 so much. I'm always here for a fun polyamorous vampire time. Okay, vampire hunter, again with the Geralt of Rivia Witcher vibes too. Yes, so we have this sequel possibility that I got from the library. We also have the duology, where I would have to reread book 1, which is The Daughters of Istahar, before diving into The Weavers of Alabasta, which is the second book by Hadir El-Spy. This is sapphic. This is Avatar: The Last Airbender suffragettes, very heavily inspired by Egypt and rebellion and that kind of thing. I remember reading book 1 and enjoying it I read it a number of years ago during Pride. Do I remember anything other than what I just told you? Absolutely not. Other than I had fun. So this could be a potential great time. And then another reread into a fresh read. The reread would be the To Shape a Dragon's Breath by Monocle Blackgoose, which is a absolutely fucking phenomenal dark academia type of dragon book that is all the things I love about a school setting type of book. Like, I know I'm kind of an outlier in this, but when I read a book that is set at a school, my favorite parts of those books are when the kids are just in classes and when they're just having fun at learning, because I'm learning too, and I would like to also be in a dragon academy. Yes, please. So I fucking loved this. This is a lot slower. This is not very high octane. It is gentle, but it's beautiful in its rebellion and its queerness. So I'm definitely gonna be. I'm kind of itching to reread that right now, and then get into the sequel, which is To Ride a Rising Storm, which came out earlier this year. So truly excited for these. Dragons. And I am also currently actively reading the Fireborn trilogy by Rosaria Munda. And apparently, either the second or the third, I can't remember which one, is queer. There might be queer characters in it. So I'll be reading those too, but I don't know. I just wanted to mention that because I was waiting. I was waiting for the second book to come in at the library because I have the third book from the library, but not the second. I got tired of waiting and I ordered the 2 of them off of Book Outlet. So I now have book 2 and 3 on their way to me from Book Outlet. I loved book 1 so much. Anyways, another one is Sorcery of Small Magics by Mai Gadusi, which is a Killian? Yes, I think it's a Killian and queer because it showed up on lots of queer lists, which we love. Queer, cozy vibes. And then I have this series that I totally forgot I had on my shelves because it wasn't technically on my shelves. It was kind of on the floor here, hidden by other things. But this is the Edinburgh Nights series. Now, there are 5 books in this series in total. I have read book 1 twice now. with the aim of continuing. But these are the most voicey books I have read in a really long time. And that, like, honestly, rivaling Green Teeth for voiciness for me. This is set in an slightly alternative universe, Edinburgh, where our main character, Ropa, can see ghosts. The voice of the narration in here is so Scottish. It's so unique. It's so unique, and I really, really enjoyed book one. And I believe there is Sapphic rep in here, continuing on it, like a little inklings of it in book one. So I would really like to continue reading the series into book two, which is Our Lady of Mysterious Ailments. This is a weird font. And then book three is The Mystery at Dunvegan Castle. And then book 4 and 5, I could not tell you what they're called, but they are all out in the world, I do believe. So that's another option as well if I want to kind of dive back into that series, because it's like horror, fantasy. Children are being drained of their life in the first one, that kind of a thing. And I'm really interested to see where the series goes from there. So anyways, my friends, let me know down below what you are reading for Pride. And if you need another recommendation, please pick up my books, because you could read an entire cozy trilogy right now for like $3 because I have the ebooks on sale, each of them for 99 cents. So if you go to my link tree, which is linked in my description, the first 3 links of my link tree are going to take you to a Second Stories Pride sale, a Little Lux Pride sale, and a Favored Face Pride sale, and you can pick your favorite ebook distributor to get those ebooks from, except for Amazon, because I cannot put my Amazon books on sale because Amazon sucks. Anyways, but you can read them this Pride, and I will love you forever, because each one of them are very, very queer. The first one, of course, is a gay love story between Ari and Finn. The second one, of course, is sapphic between our lovely, lovely Carandir, who is a lesbian, and Lottie, who is bisexual. And then we have our third book, which doesn't look necessarily queer because it is between a man and a woman, but Zanvi is bisexual, and our beautiful Merowyn is demi. So lots of queer main character rep, and also just a fuck ton of queer side character rep in those books as well. So please go pick up my books. They're on sale. Share with your friends. Have a cozy time this Pride, and go visit Arrowmount, because Arrowmount, I would like to be there right now. Go by the sea, have a little drinky in May's Cafe, stop by a Second Story, go pick up a book to read. God, I would love it. Anyways, my friends, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Happy Pride. I will see you in another video very, very soon. Stay kind and keep on reading.